Well, they contacted us, but I didn't feel ready. There was something inside, and even the thought of it made.
Have you ever wondered what happens when stage fashion does more than just look good, when it actually becomes part of the performance itself? Today we investigate how young British singer Lucy Thomas transformed her wardrobe on America's Got Talent into a storytelling tool. Thomas, born 21 February 2004 in Wigan, Lancashire, England, emerged into the public eye after appearances on talent shows and several album releases in the classical crossover pop musical theater space. What we'll walk through today is not just her singing journey, but how her stage style has evolved and what that evolution reveals. In this deeper look, I'll chart her background, her key looks, her style patterns, how those intersect with her music, recent shifts, the reason behind it, and what we can learn from it all. Each section brings something new. Stay tuned. The story begins in Wigan, Lancashire, where Lucy Thomas began formal vocal training at a young age and demonstrated unusual maturity for her years. According to publicly available records, she competed in the British program The Voice Kids UK in 2018 at age 14 and reached the semi-finals. From there, she signed with a label, Cavendish Records, and released her debut album premiere in early 2019. Her style of music, blending classical crossover, pop and musical theater influences, gave her a clear and powerful vocal identity. What often gets less attention is how her stage appearance started modestly, in comparison to many major talent show finalists. Instead of an overblown glam look, she opted initially for outfits that complemented her voice rather than overshadowed it, letting the performance take center stage. As she stepped into the spotlight of AGT, that visual identity became increasingly important. In what follows, we will see how each major performance also coincided with a deliberate fashion choice. Next, we'll look at the first major stage look she brought to AGT and why it mattered. When Lucy Thomas appeared on America's Got Talent, one of the earliest standout moments visually came with her choice of dress and accessories, which communicated more than just style. What caught viewer attention wasn't simply the gown or color. It was how these elements framed her voice and presence. For instance, wearing a flowing, pastel-toned gown with minimal heavy metal adornment allowed her movement and expression to read clearly on camera. The cameras captured not only her pitch and tone, but also the subtle interaction between dress fabric, lighting, and stage backdrop. In television talent shows like AGT, the first big performance sets a visual benchmark. Thomas's design team, or her styling choices, understood this key rule. The outfit must harmonize with the performance rather than conflict with it. This meant choosing textures and cuts that wouldn't reflect stage lights awkwardly, avoiding overly busy patterns that distract from her face or voice, and selecting a silhouette that invited both elegance and emotional expression. Audience reaction and social buzz picked up, not just for the voice, but for that dress and that look. Behind the scenes, stylists reportedly guided her wardrobe to reflect a rising star identity, polished yet fresh, mature yet still true to her teenage roots. What followed then was the emergence of a signature look which we explore next. Now fast forward. After her breakout appearance, a pattern began to surface in Thomas's wardrobe. Among the recurring elements, gentle pastel palette blush pinks, soft blues, muted golds, flowing skirts or gowns with strategic tailoring, subtle sparkling embellishments, but not over the top, and limited but effective use of accessories, a delicate necklace, elegant earrings. These elements seemed designed to emphasize her vocal purity and musical style rather than distract. In effect, the clothes became part of her brand. Equally important, the styling echoed the emotional tone of each number. For a soaring ballad, she might wear a dress that cascades softly, giving a sense of movement and drama. For a more contemporary piece, she'd switch to cleaner lines and sleeker fabrics. In social media posts, she shared glimpses of designer collaborations, for example being pictured wearing brand-tagged pieces such as Lavish Alice, suggesting a growing fashion awareness. While there is limited formal commentary on her fashion choices, fan pages and her Instagram posts highlight these patterns. What emerges is not a rash of random outfits, but a consistent visual signature, elegance anchored in simplicity, color choice that reflects youthful sophistication, and tailoring that allows her performance to shine. The result, when she appears on stage now, viewers subconsciously recognize this is Lucy Thomas, even before the first note. Next, we'll examine how these fashion choices work in service of her singing and emotion. Here's the interesting part. A stage outfit isn't just clothing, it becomes an emotional amplifier. In Thomas's case, the strategic wardrobe choices play a supporting role in how her performance lands. For example, when she tackles themes of longing or dramatic tension, her dress may shift into richer texture, deeper color, or more movement. That visual cue primes the audience's expectations, and then her voice fulfills the promise. The synergy between sight and sound elevates the moment. On TV productions like AGT, where camera angles, lighting, and set design matter enormously, the wardrobe must adapt. A rigid pantsuit might look good in person but flatten on camera. A dress with heavy pleats might catch lights unpredictably. Thomas's team appears to have learned this quickly. By keeping her fashion choices aligned with the emotion and stage mechanics, she ensures the visual supports, not overshadows, her singing. The audience thus experiences a cohesive package: the voice, the look, the moment. We don't have verified reports of major backstage drama about this process, but the pattern of outfit selection tied to performance theme is evident in recordings and fan commentary. In effect, the fashion becomes a silent co-performer. Up next, we'll look at how her style has recently shifted and what that might suggest about her next chapter. What's shifting now? In recent appearances and social media posts, Thomas has begun experimenting more boldly, introducing slightly edgier fabrics, metallic trims, darker accent colors, layering pieces, and more daring silhouettes. While still within the realm of her established elegance, the transition signals growth. It could reflect a desire to move beyond the young singer in a gown image into something more dynamic and adult. In addition, there has been fan speculation, though no hard confirmation, about brand endorsements or upcoming fashion collaborations. Some Instagram posts show tagged designers and gifted pieces, suggesting that her fashion identity is increasingly commercialized. This kind of brand integration often invites subtle controversy. Does the outfit serve the music or serve the brand? Thomas appears to balance this by continuing to deliver vocal strength on stage, so the fashion appears as an enhancement rather than a distraction. Rumor mills on social forums also mention that stylist sessions for her upcoming live concerts, post-act, are being scheduled with larger-scale design houses, which could further elevate her visual presence. While we cannot verify the exact brands or fees, the trend is clear. The wardrobe is becoming a strategic component of her public image, and as she matures artistically, her stage look evolves in tandem. Next, we'll draw together why all this matters. The key question: why does this strategy work? First, it maximizes memorability. When viewers recall an emotional performance, part of what stays with them is the visual, the dress, the lighting, the movement. By consistently presenting a refined fashion signature, Thomas builds brand recognition. Second, it supports her vocal narrative. Because her music style bridges classical and popular, the outfit choices act as a bridge to elegant but accessible. Third, it creates a visual storyline for viewers and media to talk about. In today's media environment, outfits become posts, tweets, memes, influencer commentary. Thomas is leveraging that. Importantly, she avoids fashion overshadowing her performance. That balance is difficult. Some performers become known for their costumes rather than their vocals. Thomas still keeps the spotlight on the voice, letting the wardrobe play second fiddle yet remain impactful. In television settings like AGT, where stage time is limited and viewer attention is fleeting, this synergy is crucial. The fashion becomes part of the story rather than a side show. Looking ahead, this strategy positions her to expand into concert tour, brand partnerships, perhaps fashion collaborations, while maintaining the core identity that drew audiences in. It's a compelling case study in how image and music can intertwine. Finally, we'll wrap up with what this means and invite reflection. In summary, Lucy Thomas has built more than a vocal career. She's created a visual narrative that walks step by step with her performance evolution. From the initial modest stage look, through developing signature fashion elements, to recent shifts toward greater sophistication, each stage of her style reflects meaning, emotion, and brand building. Her wardrobe choices on AGT were not incidental, they were integral. So the next time you watch a performance and think, wow, that dress made the moment, consider this. What you're seeing is part of a carefully constructed story. Here's a final thought to leave you with. If an outfit can influence how a performance is received, what might your own stage look say about you, even off camera? Whether you're singing, presenting, or simply showing up somewhere important, the visual you choose is part of your voice. Thanks for being with us today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, feel free to comment below. Which of Thomas's looks has stood out to you, and what do you think it said?